Alright, so I'm here in my dwelling. I've dwelled among the Nacirema for some years now. I've been studying their culture for some time. And what I chose to really focus on is this thing called Cisum. So now the Nacirema listen to Cisum oftentimes in groups, sometimes it's by themselves, and it's just this noise with these different rules to it and different patterns and rhythms to it that they seem to enjoy. And it's really quite a strange practice because it's just basically essentially noise being played, and it doesn't always have meaning. Sometimes there's words to it, so it makes sense and you can kind of get a message from it, but sometimes it's just plain noise that just doesn't really have any really purpose to it, it doesn't seem like. But they spend hours listening, making, and all sorts of things to Cisum. They dance to it, they sing to it, and they'll spend so much time and money just to find new Cisum and to go to different places to watch this Cisum being performed in person. And so I think I found one of the Nacirema listening to Cisum. Let's see if we can find him here. Oh wait, no, that's one of their pets. That is called a tack. Their tack are very soft and cuddly. This one's not very nice. He doesn't like that. Alright, let's see if we can find a real Nacirema listen to Cisum. Ah, here's one. Notice, they don't pay attention very well when they're listening to Cisum. It's kind of hard to get their attention sometimes. Hey Drew. Hey Drew. See, it just doesn't work. You just have to get real close to them. They can be very aggressive. They might bite you, so be very careful, but... Whoa. Okay. Hey, so what kind of Cisum were you listening to there?
Beethoven.
Beethoven, yeah. Really? Do you like Beethoven?
I love Beethoven.
Okay, name 3 of his Nasses.
2, 3, 4.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, you're a true Beethoven fan. All right.
Thank you.
Why do you like listening to Cisum?
It's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sounds cool.
Alright. I don't think we found a very smart one, but that's okay. So, as you can see, the Nacirema, they really like to listen to their Cisum, and, it's really a strange practice in my opinion. So, let's go see some other forms in different ways and aspects in which the Nacirema listen to Cisum and experience Cisum, and the different functions and roles that Cisum can form in their society. So, let's go. Now, I'm going to show you the inside of a Nacirema rack. These rack have these things called orders that I've studied, where they can actually play the Cisum inside of their racks while they're transporting from place to place. Here's one. Let's try it and see if it's open. Alright, let's see. This is the inside of a rack. Not all racks look like this, but some are a bit cleaner than this rack in probability. But here is the Oder right here. So there's these knobs here that they turn to make the Cisum louder or softer. And then this is how they change the Cisum they're listening to. If they want to listen to a different, they're called Nas. They're these different iterations of the Cisum that they listen to. They're called Nasses. And there's these different buttons here, all sorts of other buttons that control all different things on the Oders. I just think it's very fascinating that they just feel so attached to their Cisum that even when they're in their racks going from place to place, they feel compelled to listen to their Cisum wherever they are. They can take it with them. It's just so portable. They just have to be around it all the time. Even if they're with other of their culture, of their other Nacirema, they just want to listen to the Cisum instead of maybe talking to each other or just enjoying each other's company. It's quite strange. let's move on to the next thing. This is very neat right here. I don't know if you can see it very well, but I found a Nacirema who was holding one of the instruments that they use to produce the Cisum. This is completely irrelevant and everything, but I just realized when I was editing this video and wrote guitar backwards that the name of one of my favorite songs by John Frusciante, who's the former guitarist, oh, I think he's rejoining them now, actually, now that I heard that recently, of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, one of my favorite songs is Ray Twig, which is guitar backwards. Anyways, back to the video. Alright, I'm going on right now. I'm heading to a temple I've heard about of the Naciremas, where they store these things called drossers, I believe they're called. And that's just one medium of how they store their music. So we'll see a temple in a moment. So here's the temple. This one's called Sisters of Sound, as you'll see right here. It's kind of tucked away in this alleyway right here. It's kind of interesting, the placement, because it's not just like where you'll see it very easily. I've walked past this alleyway several times before, but I didn't know that this particular temple was here until recently, where one of my friends actually did an anthropological study of Sisters of Sound, this temple of the Nacirema. So yeah, so that's what a temple looks like that they have these drosser in. I've seen multiple Nacirema come in and they'll spend, you know, a long time in there, and sometimes they'll come out with drosser, sometimes they won't. They'll just keep filing through looking for particular drosser, and some drosser are more valuable than others, partly because of the Cisum that's on them, but also just because they're rarer or older, or they just they didn't make a lot of them. So yeah, so we're gonna move on to the next aspect of Cisum. Here I am standing out a Nacirema rab. I've seen many adolescent Nacirema enter this rab for the sole purpose of dancing to Cisum. So here it is, what it looks like on the outside. It's closed right now. They're usually open in the evening at nights, where these just flocks and flocks of these Nacirema adolescents will come to dance to the Cisum, and the hopes, it seems like they're ultimately hope to secure a mate. It happens from time to time where a Nacirema will see another Nacirema and appreciate their dancing to the Cisum, and from time to time they will be successful and find a mate. So that's just one aspect of how the Cisum really permeates their culture and really helps them effectively find other people. It aids in that process. So the Cisum isn't just for fun, or as it may seem, it actually serves a very concrete purpose in Nacirema culture, to help them find other Nacirema to just, you know, be friends with, to just enjoy time with, but also to actually mate with. So, which is a very, very important part of Nacirema culture, it appears, and considered sort of, to an extent by some, one of the best things about being a Nacirema. And so they put a lot of time and effort and really perfecting their dancing to the Cisum, and they spend a lot of time going to these rabs in order to find a mate. So I just think it's really fascinating how something that seems to be from the outside perhaps just more for fun or just kind of, you know, entertainment or leisure activity, actually serves a very, very deeper and more valued purpose for the Nacirema. I am outside a Nacirema earteat. I've also heard it pronounced reteat, and it just kind of depends on the spelling of the Nacirema, because sometimes they spell it differently, but in their own language it's not actually pronounced differently. But when we speak of it in scientific ways, it's pronounced differently. It's quite weird. So here's the outside of the reteat, or ear teat in this case. This is what it looks like. And inside of these retreats, they perform, they get lots of Nacirema with instruments to perform these, they're called truncets. Wait, let me think if I can remember how to pronounce it. Truncets, wait, troncets, no. Trintox, that's what it is, I believe. Trontox, maybe. Anyways, the word I was trying to say here is Trinox, which is concert backwards, which really should not have been that hard to say, especially because it's just concert backwards. And anyways, I was just trying to come up with the word in the moment, because I forgot to come up with the word for concert backwards before I started recording. And accidentally, I think that kind of shows what we're kind of trying to do with this assignment, where we're trying to find sort of the different or the unfamiliar in the familiar. So we're taking this piece of culture that just we're so used to, and we just, do without even thinking about it twice, or participate in without even thinking about it. And we're examining it and second guessing it and trying to look at it from the perspective of an outside researcher to really understand what's going on here. And I think sometimes that can be very weird and unfamiliar for a lot of people, and in this case I really struggled with just pronouncing the word, much less explaining it. As you notice, I did say a few times throughout this video, and I will later in this video, and I even am now, just because it's so hard sometimes to try to look at something from a different perspective, even when it's just so normal and you feel like it should be easy to explain. And that's what part of this class is really all about, is looking at things that you may take for granted in your everyday world and explaining them from a much bigger and different perspective than you're used to, and really challenging you to think differently. And that's why I really enjoy this class, and specifically this assignment. So I'll let you get back to my little video studying Cisum, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you actually learn something from it and everything. So Trontox have these large masses of Nacirema who sit and watch these other Nacirema with their instruments play Cisum. These Trontox, or I can't think of how to pronounce it right now, I feel silly. Some of the Nacirema words are hard to pronounce. Anyways, attract large groups of Nacirema, and sometimes they'll be quieter and, sit pretty still during the performances, and then only at the end will they express their appreciation for the Cisum that was just played. Other times they're very loud in body, and there's just a lot of Nacirema jumping around and having a good time, and sometimes they'll jump off the stage into the crowd and go what they call it something, let's see, I cannot pronounce the word. I'll type it out on this video so you can see it. It's kind of hard to pronounce in the Nacirema language. It's a bit easier, so you'll see. I'll give you both versions so you can see it. But it's quite interesting because these troncets are kind of like a version of the rabs almost, in some ways. They can be. Certain editions, the more loud and obnoxious ones are. And they'll bring even more people together. And they're not, in this case, really trying to mate. They're just having a good time and trying to be together. And it's sort of similar to their sporting events the Nacirema have, where they try to bring together a lot of people in the same spirit of things and reach something called collective effervescence, which comes from as a result of a lot of Nacirema being together and being very loud and cheering for the same thing and going for the same goals. It unites them almost spiritually, energetically behind this these certain ideas and ideals that they hold in common with each other, and they're united through these events that they attend, such as these I lost the pronunciation.